Hello everyone, welcome back to my blog. Last we discussed about agile in last two blogs. So today, as we know, be it agile or its waterfall model, everything needs to have a proper flow. Means the cycle is there for every product that is being developed in hardware organizations or in the software organizations. So the main thing that we are supposed to have the most clarity is on the requirements. That is the first phase of SDLC, software development life cycle. STLC also, software testing life cycle. So software testing life cycle, I will definitely discuss about it in coming vlogs. Today we will start with the requirements. So requirements, what are the requirements? They are basically the ideas. For example, you say you're a stakeholder as in somebody who wants something to be done in an organization. So you have an idea that we should do something, like for example, if we take example in this vlog about the mail exchange software that stakeholder wants to develop. So that's an idea that they have, that they want something which should be able to send the mails and receive the mails and hundred of different things that they can do in that. So that is an idea and that is basically a requirement. So it's basically a document which defines what must be achieved in a project. So, in another way, we can say it's a use case. Use case, as in what you are supposed to do in your software. What are the requirements? Yes, I want that I should be able to log in. Login is a use case. I should have a registration page. Somebody registers, sign up on my application. Then only they are able to send the mails, receive the mails, or do anything that they want to do. So all these are the use cases. So basically what it is, that what your product must do, what is the final goal, that is the requirement. So now what are requirement, we are okay with it, but what is the role of the requirements documentation? So you see, documentation is important because verbally if you are talking among yourself that we should do this thing, everything you cannot get, uh, you cannot make sure that everything would be done as per your standards that you have discussed. No, it doesn't happen, because out of 10 people sitting, at least 5 or 6 people will forget it after a certain time period. So everything needs to be documented. It should be documented so that every team, whosoever is involved in it, if we talk about agile, if we talk in agile we talk about scrum. So in scrum, the team that we have, which basically works, as we have discussed, the team of 7 to 10 people that we have, so they can easily communicate amongst each other that yes, this is the requirement and we should be working based on this. And in that case, everybody, the stakeholders, the people who are giving you the work, that this is the requirement, and the people who are trying to make that possible, that is the delivery team. So everybody is very clear and they are on the same page that yes, this needs to be done. That is why documentation is very important. Then it should be very concise as in it should be, um, it should be doing value add with uh, less content and more value add in it should have, so that every, because lengthy things, nobody has that much of time to read a lot of lengthy stuff and all that. So everybody wants is very brief summary of the things told in a very precise way, but they are very fruitful for you. So it should be very concise. And how it starts is, first you have the high level information. As in, if we talk about the same example, so it's your high level requirement is that you want a system which should have a mail exchange, which should be a mail exchange system. So sending and receiving mails, so that is a high level thing. At the background, if you talk, there are a lot of other things involved in this. Sending mails, how are you going to send? You'll have to create a mail, you'll have an inbox from where you can actually reply, that is also a sending. So high level is sending and receiving. So first we talk about the high level thing, which is sending, and the low level. And if we say we break down into the modules, the low level would be sending is new mail, it can be replying all, or it can be forwarding to somebody. So that is what is the requirements document. Then we talk about the functional and the non-functional requirements. So requirements are basically categorized into two segments. One are the functional, and the second are the non-functional requirements. So functional requirements, these are basically the functions that the developer must develop. Means uh, something that is that you will see. For example, you want, your requirement is that you should be able to send a mail, or you should be able to compose a mail. So when you will see a tab new, that's a requirement that a new tab should be there. When it you click on it, you should have a page where you can write down a mail to specific set of people with a given subject. You can add a signature to it, and you can actually shoot it and it goes. So that is a functional requirement. And these requirements, they describe the behavior under specific conditions, as in uh, for example, I would say whenever you are sending a mail, you are composing a mail and you click on send, then what do you want? You should, how would you know that your mail is sent? You should have a trigger. Maybe a pop-up is there, or just a message is displayed on your screen, that message sent, mail sent. So that is a functional requirement, that we want system should do this thing. That's a functional requirement. And that is it specifies that what the software should do. Then it is specified by the user as in the stakeholder, or the business team members who have come up with this project. So that is very mandatory, because that is the core of the project. Functional requirements are basically what you are doing, what a project will do. So that is the most, project is standing on it. So that is mandatory. And it's defined at the component level, as in you have the components, sending the mails, receiving the mails, deleting the mails, or archiving the mails, so on and so forth. So all these are the components. So you first, high level is that you want to send the mail and you want to receive the mail, and the components are all these, as I have told you. So it's defined on that level. You want to go to the base level in the functional requirement, so that you can actually receive, you can actually reach to the highest level that you are supposed to achieve in your project. So it helps to verify the functionality of the software, that your software is doing what you have expected to see in your software. You want to see that you are able to send the mail. That is, uh, when you are able to see, it means your functional requirement is met. That you, when you are writing a mail, you are sending the mail, it goes and you can see that somebody has received it, means your requirement has met. So it's easy to define, because what you want, that's very easy to explain to somebody in the documentation, that we want something like this. You can, there are a lot of ways in which the documentations are done. We will discuss everything in details, how it's handled in the software organizations in the coming vlogs. That is the functional requirement. Now, if we talk about non-functional requirements, so non-functional requirements, it basically it put the constraints on how a software should fulfill the functional requirements. As in, for example, you say, I want to send a mail. So, non-functional requirement in this would be that when you click on send, the mail is gone. In how much time it is going? That is defining the quality of your software. So if your software is it's hanging, it's taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's a that's something which nobody would want. If somebody is using your software and they are facing issue of latency, that it's taking 15 minutes, 20 minutes, nobody would want that, because there's so much of competition in the market these days, that if somebody is not happy with your software, they'll quickly jump to the another software. So non-functional requirement in this case would be that it should be it your mail should shoot in fraction of seconds. You should get the message that mail is sent. That is the quality of your software. So it includes many things, not only the quality but reliability. Your reliability is it's dependent upon your quality. So usability, that it's very user friendly or and user friendly. If I'm trying to use your product, it's very easy, it's not that complicated that I feel that it's messed up, and I would prefer something which is more easy for me. So it should be very usable, the performance should be good, and somebody, and very important is it should be secure. Somebody should not have that feeling that their information can get hacked from your software. So all these things are the non-functional requirements. So how it places the constraints, that how you are going to fulfill the functional requirement, means you are going to send the mail. How are In what time are you going to send it? In seconds? Yes. So that is a non-functional requirement. These requirements, they are not coming from the business or the stakeholders. These are the requirements which come to you from your internal team, from the technical teams, who decide that how are we going to meet the quality. So to meet the quality of the software, you have internal people who are working on the project, team members, leaders, architects, who know what should be the architect of a software, so that it will be very speedy, it will be user friendly, it will be acceptable to the end users. So that is internal thing, and it's not mandatory, because it's not that stakeholders are coming to you with non-functional requirements. That is something that you are supposed to take care of it. So that's not a mandatory thing, and that's not usually always written in your requirements document. It depends upon if somebody really wants to focus on it, and people do focus on it. Even if it's not mandatory, people focus on it, because today it's the time of competition, and everybody wants to be um, delivering a project or a product which is very good to the end users. And it can be good if non-functional requirements are taken care of very well. So it applies not only to any components, that you sending mail should be fast or receiving mail should be fast. It's in context to the entire software, that your software should be very efficient, not only any specific part. So it helps to verify the performance, that how is your performance of the system. And usually more difficult to define, because it's internally that you have to define. So it's little more complicated for you to discuss. So if we talk about the examples here, so authentication of the user. So authentication of the user when he logs in, that's a some login is a requirement. So in that, the functional requirement somebody says is that they want that a user should be authentic. Not everybody's just entering and composing a mail. Authentic user should be able to log in. Then The functional requirement can be like, if you are having, your system is hacked, then your system should shut down. In that case, if you feel there is some hacking happening, it should shut down so that you have least damage to your system, least damage to the data, and privacy of your system is least damage. It should shut down immediately. So these are the kind of requirements which can come to you from the business. And another example can be that somebody is registering, so a verification mail should be sent, that yes, so that we are aware that whatever email they are giving, or as the recovery email, that's a valid email. So these all are the functional requirements, so that your system, anybody who is trying to log in, he should be s- uh, he is a right person, not a wrong person, and this is in context to the login. So these are the requirements. And non-functional can be that, if for example you say that somebody is trying to register, trying to sign up, they will receive some kind of security email within 12 hours. So it should be 12 hours. It should not be like a day or two, that people actually get bored, that no, we don't want to use this, let's move to another product. So you should be very efficient in your timelines. So that is a non-functional requirement. And processing of requests, like sending mails, opening a new mail, or opening a um, or composing a mail, all these things should open in fraction of seconds. So, and thirdly, you should be able to handle the load. This is the quality of your system, that for example you have thousands, millions of people at one time trying to register, trying to sign up, or trying to log in into your application. Your system should just not hang at that time. So all these are the non-functional requirements. Okay, just to give you a brief about um, what is a document that we have, how it basically looks like, just to make it very clear, this is not the only template that you're seeing. This is just a sample that I have kept with me. Every organization that works on its own standard templates, be it the requirements documents or other documents like business requirements documents or software specification documents, any kind of documents, they have their standard documents. So just to give you a precise, we do have the project title, that what we have here, we would say the project is mail exchange system. And the project manager as in who is going to be the in charge of this project. And it can be project manager from the business side, and it can we can also include the technical side project manager also. And if we are talking about agile, we can add here the business analyst or the product owner name, because a product owner or business analyst is the one who is supposed to actually prepare the documents. So it depends, as I told you, it depends from organization to organization. These fields can be far more in some organization, but this is just a standard I am telling you, that you should be well aware of. Then we have date prepared, when you are going to make this document updated. Then last updated when it was prepared, it can be the lap of 5 or 6 months between the creation and the update. And we do have the versioning also. We at times we do have, if somebody is making even a small change in the document, they update the versions, that it was version 1, version 1.1.1. If there's a small change within version 1, or it's a lot of change, then it can be version 2. So that all is written in the starting pages of your documentation. Then stakeholder name, who is the stakeholder and what is the requirement he has come up with, and what do you think is the priority of this. So as I've told you, in agile the priority is always defined by the team when they are actually sitting back for the discussion of the requirements, or we would say the product backlog, and they define what is the priority and the acceptance criteria. Okay, so acceptance criteria is basically these are the conditions that the requirements must meet before it can be considered as complete. um, Example I would say is that I do something and expect something from it. So if I'm doing something, I am composing a mail, I expect that send button should be there. That's an acceptance criteria for me. And when I'm sending, I I click on send button. I expect that the message should be there, which says me that yes, your mail is sent, or your mail has failed. So that is acceptance criteria. This is very important part in your requirements. Um, okay, so example, if I say of acceptance criteria, for example, if we have a scenario that user should be able to register online so that he can start shopping, this is a requirement, this is a project, I would say, that stakeholders have come up to you, that they want to have a shopping cart. And shopping cart can be anything like like we have Amazon, Flipkart, and any e-commerce application they want to come up with. And they want, the very first thing is they want user should be able to register online. So here the acceptance criteria, if we talk about, is like um, form submission. If somebody is registering, they need to submit a form. So the form submission should only be done when the user has entered all the mandatory fields. You cannot just click on submit by entering your email and you are done. That is not the criteria. That so the how what is the acceptance criteria for submit to work? That is that your required mandatory fields are filled. If I talk about more instances here, then we have like email should be valid one, whatever they are entering, because you are supposed to receive the mail. If it is not a, because what happens is in the background there is a check on the server that email exists or not. If it is doesn't exist, then it should not be allowed to register. So this is, I'm just telling you the examples of the acceptance criteria of certain thing, that email should be valid one. Then if I say um, for example, if somebody if we have, you have four friends are sitting, so if everybody is trying to um, for example register from a given IP, so maybe sometimes, just to be safe, secure from the application standpoint, usually organizations they allow from one IP certain limit of registrations that can be allowed. You cannot have thousands of registrations happening, because IPs are actually tracked when you are doing any sign up or you are registering. So that is a criteria. So when you are trying, maybe you will get a message that please try after some time. So it may be because you have already have exceeded the amount of registrations that are allowed from a given IP. Then um, now, for example, you are able to register successfully, then in that case the email should be sent to you that you are able to register successfully, and just click on this email to accept it. So that is the acceptance criteria. These are the criteria that are very very important in any software. They actually are a very key reason for the software to be success. So we will be talking in more details in coming vlogs about all this, because as I told you, in any project, any software, any hardware that is being developed in any kind of organization, the backbone of a project is the requirements. Everything that is getting done is based on the requirements. You go wrong on your requirements, you will deliver completely a project which is of no use, and maybe after a certain point of time company is going to shut down that project, or it is no longer used in the market. As you have seen, there are a lot of application softwares that you have seen. Maybe if I give you an example, we had a software Orkut which was used extensively when it came up, but it suddenly failed in the market. Why? Because it was not meeting all the requirements of the users, and secondly, far more better and user friendly, more efficient projects and the projects softwares came into market. So what happens, seeing the competition these days, you need to be very efficient in anything so that people get attracted to you, right? So that is why we need to see that the criteria that we are having for the acceptance, these are not only for us but for the users. So the criteria should be such which are like user friendly. So that's all from my side for today. Going forward, we will first look into the kind of requirements documents that we have, that we can that we are supposed to make for any software, and how they are made, who is supposed to make them. Everything we will discuss in the coming vlogs. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.